Okay, this is Jackie Lakowski. I am at the Big Apple Film Festival interviewing Mike Timm, a very talented filmmaker. Hopefully the sound holds out and you can hear everything. Thank you so much. Let's start with your short film.
Okay, the latest short film I have on the festival circuit's called The Valley of Heart's Delight.
Yes.
And this one is a coming-of-age story about a 17-year-old entrepreneur in 1997. Okay, he's on his way out to Silicon Valley, but he breaks down in the New Mexican desert.
Okay,
New Mexican desert.
this sounds good. Yeah.
And it takes a mechanic to basically, after he has his hardships of just, what did I do? Where am I? It takes a mechanic to relift his spirits. So really it's a feel-good piece about just trusting your gut. And that's really what an entrepreneur is. You got to trust your gut. You got to go with the, good or the bad. You got to go for it. But also what drew me to the story was that that's what filmmakers have to do. That's what screenwriters have to do. Storytellers have to do. But when we make films, we got to trust our guts. So we're entrepreneurs. We got to go for it, for good or for bad, worse, whatever. We may succeed, we may not, but we got to trust ourselves and our spirit. Oh, and that's basically what the movie's about for me, and that's great. And so you got to just go for it.
That's absolutely wonderful. I love it's a very inspirational message. So let me ask you a few questions. I studied a little about you. You attended and graduated the Rochester Institute of Technology film program.
That's correct.
And then you also worked for the Sundance Institute shortly after.
Yes.
What is your opinion on real world film education versus film school education? What is your takeaways?
Well, I would say this, when I went to school, I graduated in 92, right? So film school was just standard. We had all the equipment. I got into NYU. The only reason why I didn't go into NYU, because my mother said, well, you'd have to live at home. I don't want to live at home. I wanted to go away to college, but also RET, they allowed us in our freshman year to use the equipment. So I used the equipment, and the film school, not only do we get taught certain things and how to tell stories, but you taught how to make them, but why to make them. And that's, really it. But also film school, in the right curriculum, they'll allow you, if you go to a film school that gives you the freedom just to grab the cameras and go experiment, that's great. Other than that, there's the alumni base and everything else. But I don't know. I know a lot of people that didn't get it. The alumni base doesn't really help. So I think the real life experiences these days, it just costs so much money to go to film school. I think just go and make movies. And film school can be good. RET is great right now, so I would go there because their facility, their magic studio is fantastic and everything else. But I will say real life experience, there's nothing like it unless you have agency to really make stuff happen. The thing is, most people go out there and they just wait for it to happen for them. And those are the people that probably should have went to film school, But if you have agency just to make it happen and experiment and shoot on your iPhone and cut on your iPhone and make your short films, tell your stories, then just go and do that, And don't work at film festivals. That's an education in itself. Go work at Sundance. I worked for the Sundance Institute. I assisted, the film labs, the director's lab, screenwriter's lab. To me, working at Sundance was my graduate school because I have a chance to really talk with people about storytelling. And that's really what it is. It's about point of view.
Okay.
It's your point of view in storytelling. You got to figure that out first. Sure, I go from there.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm loving the sound effects out here.
Yeah, there's
New York, New York. I'm loving this. Oh, God. Well, we'll see how this goes in post, right? We'll see if we clean it up in post. Well, let's see. What was your experience like at the Sundance Institute? Do you have any, memorable moments there? Any stories? What did you learn from the Sundance specifically?
What I learned the Sundance Institute, for the very fact that I was, brought in and, it was fall of 95. That was right when the independent filmmaking scene in the 90s was right in the middle of it all. But I had a chance to go and work at the film labs and screenwriter labs. And it was this little camp up in the mountains in the wintertime before the festival, hanging out with Academy Award winning screenwriters who are just as human as you and I. Some of them don't act human, but some of
Okay.
them really act human, and they're just sweet and all you do is you talk about storytelling. And we watched The Usual Suspects before Christopher McQuarrie won the Academy Award, and we watched that, and there were screenwriters, big time people that challenged him and everything else, and you just saw that. But I hung out with Chris and he was just a normal guy, and hearing him talk about stuff and that he won the award and whatever else. And he's gone on to do great things. But Sundance, you meet people on a very like human level. And Sundance is all about that. Yeah, it's a big behemoth of just during the festival. But I also, when I worked there, I also had a chance to cut together some promos. And one of my favorite things that out of that whole experience was somebody did these promos for Redford and for Bob, and then I don't know, I guess it didn't go so well. I said, "Let me do it," and I worked with the editor, and then Bob looked at them, and then he went back and said, "Whoever did these caught the spirit of Sundance." I think the spirit of Sundance is the spirit of the entrepreneur of storytelling, and you gotta just allow yourself to really. Your voice is your heart. Your voice is your soul.
Yeah.
And it's got to be on the page. It's got to be on the screen. If we don't do that, then you're just another filmmaker.
Yeah.
That's it. So
For sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that's a really great insight. So I know so many people that want to get into Sundance,
right,
and it's a tough one to get in.
sure,
I
yeah, Sundance, not Sundance or bust. You can't do that to yourself.
yeah,
Don't do that to yourself.
yeah, that's true.
But it's great to get her.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me ask you, because you've worked also for big dogs like Universal, Warner Brothers, and you've also worked on indie,
Right,
smaller indie
right.
stuff. What are the pros and cons?
Pros and cons of indie versus studio.
Yeah, like what are some takeaways, like positive and negative from Paul?
Well, they've done indie stuff. You're on your boots on the ground, nuts and bolts of filmmaking. I was a location scout, location manager. I was a coordinator that had to be a UPM at one point, and you move up, you moved over. You got to wear a lot of hats. It doesn't matter. You're never gonna have enough money. You're never gonna have enough film. Never gonna have enough whatever hard drives, or equipment or people. So indie filmmaking, it's really like I said, boots on the ground, and you just learn to go with it and hustle, and working for a studio. I mean, for me, work for a studio, it's a career. Gives me a salary. I raise a family, and I chose a long time ago not to be the freelancer guy working in films. I wanted to just work at the studio, have a decent job, sure, raise a family, and making films. I kind of always said there's a difference between working in films and making films. And working in films doesn't necessarily make you a director. You're not going to become a director being an AD. Right. You're going to be a director by going out there and directing. And there's a lot of people that, there's a difference between being a director and directing.
Yeah.
Some people just want to be directors.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they know who they are. And it's like, just, you got to have the guts. You got to have to put yourself out there and put in the time and put in the hustle and really direct. Go out there and make it happen for you and not wait for be your own producer.
Right.
Just every actor should be their own producer. It's so tough these days. You gotta have agency, gotta make it happen.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between studio. Studio for me is I learned a lot about marketing, not just on studio level, but for different indie films and everything. So you bring that to the table because you can't. I don't know. Writing a script is one thing, but if you can't get it made, then what's the point?
Right, 100%. I mean, I've even say the same thing kind of like with actors, like, the difference with actors that are artistic and take it seriously versus the ones that want to be famous, right? Like, there's a difference. Like, you could tell who those actors are. And, a lot of times the ones that take it seriously, you tend to be better at the craft.
Right, that's
They
it.
really
Yeah.
immerse themselves. Or, I do agree as a
That's
director.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
no,
Yeah.
I see it all the time. And it's not saying that some people won't just become famous,
Yeah.
but the thing is, it's a long shot. If you're going for the big swing
Yeah.
without going for the singles and doubles,
Yes.
then you're okay. You may be disappointed down the line, but whatever. So you take the big swing, right? Or
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. And now, now your goal, I know you said you worked as a creative executive.
I'm a creative producer. Yeah,
Creative
that's a very sexy word for a production manager.
Okay. Okay. That's a
Project
sexy
manager.
word. Yeah.
But it looks good. So
Yeah, it does look good. Okay. And what exactly does that role?
But every producer's a project manager. That's what you are. You know, you got it. It's a conveyor belt of things you got to make happen in order to get to the end product.
Well,
You know?
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
like you put on whatever hat you have
Right.
to put on
Right.
to get the
Right.
job done.
That's right. So
Right.
what do I do at Universal?
Yes.
Okay, so I work in home entertainment, and I took the job in the creative department that works with the interface of Blu-ray, DVD, UHD, Apple, digital iTunes, and all the menus.
Okay.
So when you press play, when you press brothers content, I work with the content people, I work with the marketing department, I work with the creator directors, I work with the graphic artists, vendors, designing it. So you got to make sure that creatively it's sound, and you're also helping tell the story from the theatrical campaign into the home entertainment campaign. So it's creative. You got to work with the legal department, and you just kind of, I don't know, I kind of just have to make sure everybody else is doing their job,
Okay.
you know, and that's it. And it's all legal and cleared, and it's all clean, and it's a lot of work, you know.
I would imagine with all the.
And it's fun. It beats driving a truck.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, which I've done also.
Right, right. Or 9 to 5, like, so you like it.
2 ton or a 10 or 5 ton when there was an art dog, you know.
Okay.
So there you go.
So you've done a variety of short films that have placed in multiple festivals.
Right.
What is your advice to filmmakers about the submission process? Like, what, like, I know it could be very discouraging. Like, it's hard to get into festivals. Like, what do you?
It is. Well, here it is. Don't overspend.
Okay.
All right. So if you're going to put money into a submission into a film festival, know that if you get in, like the dog that catches the ambulance or whatever,
Uh huh.
what are you gonna? If you get in, do you have the money to go there?
Yeah.
You know, don't. I mean, it's not going to do you any good if you don't. If you can't go, yeah. I just say just less is more. Everyone spends so much money, and if you have all the money in the world to travel, then go for it and do it. Then that's for social hour, right? The fact is don't overspend on submissions. Also, figure out what your movie really is. Ask other people. I had my film, Mr. Roberts. I submitted to like 10 festivals, didn't get into one.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, this is actually a pretty good film.
Yeah.
Someone's like, well, are you going to horror festivals? Like, horror festivals? What,
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy? Like, why is that? Because your movie is kind of a horror film. Like, is it?
Right.
Okay. I got into every single festival and I won awards after I started submitting. I was like, I see. So really be honest and ask other people what you should do, where you should go. If it's a drama, yeah, if there's some festivals that don't want to show dramas,
Okay.
and if it's I don't know. So those are hard, but genre is a genre.
Okay.
And I don't know. That's what I would say. Just being do your homework and ask other filmmakers which are the good ones, you know?
Yeah.
Someone told me about Big Apple. They said it's great for managers and agents and for representation, to get representation,
Okay.
because they come here up there, and it's true. There's a lot of events all about the agents and managers and whatever else. It's like, cool, good, good. You know, I have a manager, so I don't, now I do after screening at Deaths with Films in LA.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So it's great.
Congratulations.
And he's fantastic. Eric Zeig from Untamed Artists.
Oh,
Like him.
wonderful.
Also, he's been a great collaborator, a great partner in crime. You know, so
Oh,
anyway,
amazing.
yeah.
Well, congratulations. Oh, that's so awesome. And then I'll just I have a lot here, but I'll just kind of skip to the most relevant.
thanks, sir.
Now, let me ask you, out of all your projects, which one are you most proud of and why?
They're all my children. Um, no, but I'm proud of this latest one because the Valiant Hearts Delight.
Mhm.
Mostly because of the team I had, and it was the logistics of it
Okay.
were the most, the grandest stuff, like a producer, because we filmed in New Mexico and I pre-produced from LA, and Heather Schrenkengast, who lives in Albuquerque, she was boots on the ground, my co-producer there. Never met her before, but Marshall Adams told me she would be a great producer, that she was a location person on Breaking Bad, and Better Call Saul. So it's like, and she was a great producer. So working with them in all the, I don't know, the castings, I'm proud of just what we did together in the film, the message, and Ryan Ray, my executive producer, working with him and just him allowing us just to do our thing, and just watching us and learning from us, and he was great, and it's just everything. Marshall Adams, my shooter, and proud that Jake Cross was a key grip, also one of my good friends from college, and watching him, seeing a key drip, being a creative was probably one of the biggest takeaways of like, wow, seeing him work with his DP, Marshall Adams, and just see their relationship. So it's like, don't underestimate people on the crew and their role. They're not just nuts and bolts and tying this up and that's it, rigging stuff. No, they contribute
Okay.
to the storytelling, and I'm proud of that, proud of everybody, and being the producer without an AD staff, and because it was an AD, I kind of have those instincts. So I was my own AD, and we did it. I knew it was great.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. And I know you have a lot to do, so I'll just have one more question and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
So, if there was anything like it's kind of going the opposite direction, was there ever a mistake you made with one of your films where you look back like, oh, I wish I would have did this instead, or something like a learning experience?
Casting.
Cast it.
Don't follow your gut. Don't cast based on somebody else's gut unless they have a really good reason. Okay. But if your gut says cast this other person, even if it's last minute,
Okay.
go with it.
Okay.
Go with that. And also, then that just, I guess, yeah, that would be a mistake, in the past I made. And it wasn't horrible, but it definitely, it's like, all right, well, then there you go. I did it. And that was that. And it doesn't ruin it, but it definitely could have been better. Oh, if I followed my gut and didn't follow other people's opinions, and not that I'm a control freak, but when you're producing and directing, the tonality, and another, and you know what you're going for, and the vision, and not just the vision, it's the tonality is about, the energy and the sound and everything. And so I think that was my, one of my great regrets, or just on a film. I'm like, ah, okay,
Well, kind of every experience is a learning experience,
that's
right?
right. Yeah.
So awesome. Well, thank you, Mike, so much for taking the time. I appreciate it. I always love talking with you and hearing your insights. I really, really appreciate it. I value it very much. I'm sure everybody watching this will as well. And good luck with tonight.
Well, thank you for choosing me to be a interviewee.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.